Hello everyone, welcome back to another speed draw. Today we're taking a look at two characters in one. Their names are Fang and Howl. Their basic premise is that they are conjoined twins and one of them has the head of a wolf and the other has the head of a man. So before I talk about their lore and backstory, I want to talk about more so my inspirations for this character. Obviously, in my past two videos, I mentioned that the campaign I'm working on is inspired by Elden Ring, and this character is no exception. He was inspired, of course, by Blythe, in the way that he's like a man and wolf in one. They also both have a connection to the moon goddess, and I chose to do this just because I really like Blythe Elden Ring. I think he's my boyfriend. I just think he's kind of cool and sexy. I actually based this piece off of a piece of Blythe fan art that I found in terms of the lighting and composition. So as for the characters themselves, Fang is the wolf head and Howl is the man head. Again, they're conjoined twins, and Fang is a warlock and Howl is a cleric. Fang is connected to a mysterious outer god known as the Beast, while Howl is a cleric of the moon goddess of this world. And so I based a lot of their design off of those two facts. Like, the reason that he has a big sword is because I imagine that Fang took the pact boon that lets you have a eldritch weapon, and Howl has the symbol of his goddess around his neck, as we'll see later. And it's going to be interesting when I actually give them a stat block, just because I haven't done it yet, just because they appear later in the campaign. But the way I've already decided to do it is to let them have 2 turns on initiative, and then they're going to share the same physical traits, so, strength, dexterity, and constitution will be the same for them, but then their wisdom, intelligence, and charisma will be different between them. And so for this design, I wanted him to appear like rugged and rough. I wanted them to have very baby girl energy in the way that they're like a grown-ass man, or grown-ass men, I guess. But I imagine they've been warriors for a while, and I imagine they're both sort of, even though Howl directly worships the moon goddess, I imagine they're both in servitude of the moon goddess, just because they obviously have to go the same places. And so I imagine they're 50 years old, they've been at it for quite a while. That's why Howl has some gray hairs in him. And another one of my inspirations for this piece, actually for this character in general, was a piece I saw. I think it was one of them illuminated manuscript illustrations, and it depicted basically the same concept of what you're seeing, like a man who is conjoined to a wolf man. I'll try to put it up here if I can find it later. And the pose is not so subtly inspired by Guts' pose in Berserk, the one where the wolf pose, I guess. And I based the sword he has off of Guts' sword, his Golden Age sword, in the way that's obviously a huge sword, but it's plausible, I guess, more so than the Dragon Slayer sword. So to talk a little bit about the story that he's going to fulfill in the campaign, just because I'm not letting my friends watch this video, I can talk a little bit more about it. The party is going to meet him, and he's going to be guarding the entrance to the moon goddess's domain. And so, for some reason or another, the party's going to want to enter there, and this guy's going to be guarding it, and he's going to offer them a quest to sort of prove their worth in order to gain access to her domain. He's going to appear in several places beyond that, always as a friendly NPC, and while I don't have the exact details worked out yet, part of his story is going to be resisting the temptation of the Beast, the Fang's patron. I actually imagine a scene where Fang has completely given in to the draw of the Beast, and he's been corrupted by it, and his brother Howl hasn't. So that will very much like put them at odds, even though they share a body. And again, I don't have it exactly worked out yet, but yeah. But something that's going to be very important for these characters is their bond. They obviously have a very strong bond because they spend all their time together, and so it's going to be a very tragic thing when Fang gives in to the beast. And I'm realizing I should probably give more context to the beast because he's sort of an out there concept. As an outer god, he's like a god that exists between the realities of our worlds. And so what I imagine for him is that he's like an infinite amalgamation of all beasts. And the reason that Fang has a connection to him is because he is partly a beast. Most of my energy for this piece went into rendering the metal, rendering his armor, and I wanted his armor to have this like gold trim with like writing on it or vague writing on it, just because it symbolizes how divinity binds him. And I also gave him this like cloak, this like blue and purple cloak. Mostly, well, it looks cool, but also mostly I wanted to like cover up the neck area so I didn't have to figure it out and figure out like armor with 2 neck holes. That would have been weird. So that's a little hack there that I did. And so to touch on some aspects of the design that aren't very apparent just because of the way I illustrated this piece, I wanted this orange glow that comes in at the end to be the same color as their eyes. I imagine they both have these glowing orange eyes. You can only really see it on Howl just because Fang is howling with his eyes closed. So yeah, that should be the end. Thank you guys for watching. Follow me on socials if you want. They're in the description, but I don't really care. And yeah, so bye.